Hello, 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 everyone. I think if I say that louder, I'll wake myself up. I'm tired. It's only Wednesday. Hello, Waka Waka. Was watching Umbrella Academy but had to pause it to watch this? What? Where are your priorities, Waka? Tesla so predictable today, the pump then the dump. Well, you saw the article that came out, right? The article. And of course, no 8K filed, but the article where it was finally released from his meeting with the Tesla owners Silicon Valley Club in Austin, Texas on May 31st. So he talked about, quote, both Berlin and Austin factories are gigantic money furnaces right now, okay? It's really like a giant roaring sound, which is the sound of money on fire. so, when Tesla's overwhelming concern, he said, is, quote, how do we keep the factories operating so we can pay people and not go bankrupt? Think that was material information that should have been disclosed in an 8K rather than notes from the owners meeting. All right, this is what, as soon as we get an SEC, it would be nice. Sorry, little rant there. Good afternoon, Davey. Hello, Waka. Good evening, Anissa. Welcome. You're just become the regular. The rally was convincing, then right back down it goes. We had momentum off the open, which you got to trade this momentum. And then, now we had some topping patterns, a double top triggered in the NASDAQ. So, yeah, looks like the markets are weakening. I agree. Could go back down again. That's what happens when the cycles are mismatched patterns a lot of times. You get this back and forth. We could get these really strange kind of rallies and fades or fades and rallies into next week, which is quarter end. And then we'll have to see. Good afternoon, Patrick. This is tactical trading. I wish it was different. Not only is it difficult just with everything, with the Fed speak, with Powell speak, with all this other stuff going on, with inflation stuff, with who's our gosh darn president talking? Are we going to have a gas tax holiday, which is going to do crap? Powell brought on a bunch of recession fears with his talk. It sounded like the Democrats, and I'm not going to get political on this, but with Senator Warren, I actually have to tune her out. Oh, my goodness. What, she's now already wanting to stop hiking? I mean, that's sort of like the impression I got from it. Hello, Christoph. So, good afternoon, AP's world. Oh dear, that is bad. Did you not see this? I mean, this was all right. Go look this up here. I see a sub. It's on. There you go. Musk says Tesla's new car factories are losing billions of dollars. Direct quote from him. You can go look it up. I can drop the article in the. If you want to read the exact thing, I can drop it in Discord. But that's the kind of thing, and that was said back from the meeting. Hold on. The meeting on, you see, official Tesla has recognized club on May 31st. What is it today? The 22nd. So nearly 3 weeks later, this is coming out, but no 8K. You think that might be important to investors. Also, if he's disclosing it to people who are stockholders and it's not disclosed publicly to other people, it is a big no-no. But nobody's enforcing stuff. Mr. Fraudster. So that's where we sit. 2008 will look like a picnic in the park. Hey, John, how are you done? Are we done? Is that it? No, it's not it. Hey, Dan Jett. Hey, T-7 trading days till recession. Well, we could. Well, the old definition, if we get GDP. Now, what if the Q2 GDP comes in at 0? That's not technically negative, but that's the old definition anyways. Now they just want to say, well, we'll decide when it was a recession or not, so it doesn't really matter. I'm staying away from Tesla now. Any day now this thing could drop to. I completely agree. You have to be very nimble. It is, and I guarantee that the one day we're gonna wake up and the literally crap's gonna hit the fan because of something that finally caught up to him. Yeah, you don't want to get caught in the drop, especially in these markets. So sorry for all the Tesla talk in the beginning, but I just think it's important because I don't want any company. This is why you have to disclose this kind of information because, if you have it, you disclose it to the shareholders via an 8K. That's how it's done. But I guess everything's not done anymore. You have stuff like Revlon bankruptcy, and then it rips your face off rallies. Because I want to go buy a bankrupt company. Why not? Especially I want to go buy the unsecured debt. Why wouldn't I want to buy unsecured debt? What stock? What's the common stock? Unsecured debt. So, it's not even it's unsecured equity. So it's not even debt. So why don't I just rush out and buy that when a company goes into bankruptcy? Okay, it's where we live in insane times still. And if you want to hear more, and I didn't already scare you away, please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and hitting that like button. Longer term viewers, like the video and leave me some comments. Tomorrow, we don't need to reiterate today. It was, I'll go back. Hold on. We had Barkin, and Evans speaking. Barkin, Harker, and Evans. And you had the Powell testimony in the morning. Today, you'll have Powell testimony in the morning again tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central, so 30 minutes after it opens. 15 minutes after it opens, you have all the composite PMI flash manufacturing and services. Okay, so those we're going to see if they miss. And we're going into contractions. And at 7:30, we have initial and continuing jobless claims. That's only going to be relevant if it's a big miss. Then we have the EIA oil and gas stuff. Kansas City, I'm going to keep an eye on just to see how much it does contract, if it does. And then we have the bank stress test results in the afternoon after the close, which are a complete joke, so nobody pays attention to them. You had a pretty mixed day. Mega caps, Amazon up slightly, Google, nothing major in the mega caps. Healthcare was a pretty strong rally. Energy still getting beat up. And let's rally real estate. Why not? So FOMC still a 93% chance of that 75 basis points and still in pretty substantial negative gamma. So again, we can see these reversal moves. KB Home, I glanced at earlier, but I didn't see the results yet. Tomorrow morning, not really interested in anything. Accenture, but nah. But after the close, I am actually really interested in FedEx. I can't believe BlackBerry's still around. Remember when BlackBerry was like the thing? Before the iPhone pretty much blew them out of existence. But I remember having a BlackBerry with a little keyboard. I could respond to all my emails on my BlackBerry, and then you got the iPhone. The good old iPhone. So, yeah, the Congress members do need Economics 101. Literally, and I'm not picking sides of anything right now, but 80% of them are like I'd put in the brain dead category and don't understand even the basics. Even the basics. It's just asinine. And I'm talking on both sides. There's very few. And all the political pandering, instead of asking questions, it's just a bunch of hooey. I want them all gone. All right. So, sorry. I'm so fed up. So we got momentum right off here's your little momentum. Little first pause, continuation move, and then you actually got a second pause. You run up. What I did also, I put this in the room. I put up the reverse harmonics. You see, just in time frame, it's just not anchored. But here you go. this 37.95 spike through, then up to about 38.0650, just missing, but really nice divergence up there. You got that 15-minute before that. You got the 15-minute. Remember, as things die out, switch to your 15. If you're trying to trade shorter term, like intraday moves, after that morning move, either up or down, as it gets closer to lunch, switch that 15-minute and watch for the pullbacks to the rotation zone. You got a nice little flag pullback, a breakout. Then we got the divergence. So you see here, this is why it's also handy. Christoph asked the settings for the cycles the other day. And, this is where it can help. I try not to confuse people. And, you can learn to trade these without the indicators. I'm trying to put them on to show people if they're trying to learn, get familiar. But you see cycle ramp up, little 15-minute flag correction, rotation back up. You got the divergence with the RSI coming up just in front of the next harmonic level with the divergence cycles rolling over, and then the rollover play in the afternoon after that divergence. I'd put this in, besides the morning ramp up, I'd put this in choppy market conditions because of this little trading in the afternoon. We have 37.58.75. You break down below there, 37.39. 37.29, I'm using the conservative targets, 37.19, and you are into a clear path. And this is even a 15-minute clear path. You can see that double also on the daily. And you can see that little divergence here. And you can also see after the cycle's topped, you got the cross here, and then it started rolling down and not at the bottom. So we could see some more pullback in overnight sessions. It has not triggered yet in the S&P. That's what I am watching for with the pullback move. Now, to the upside, we don't have a great pausing bar there yet. I'm going back to the forward harmonics and leaving the same anchor point. So 38.0175 and then 38.20. Okay, those are the two upside now that I'm using the bigger forward harmonics here. So those are the key levels I'm working with. On the daily, you see cycles not at the top. Again, testing that daily rotation zone and still reacting. So haven't been able to get that close in the daily rotation zone just yet. Where do we set? Where do we sit? I'm just going back to the comments. But yeah, we got enough Tesla talk. Let's get to the ES and NQ. Well, that's what I'm doing. Let's see. Biden, the oil companies pump more oil until the midterms, and I want you to continue to try to bankrupt you. Pretty much true. And what's he going to do with the refineries? They're already at 94%. He's like meeting with the refineries saying, I want you to refine more. They're already at 94% capacity. You don't run them at 100% because you need to do maintenance. All right, and 94% is already chugging along at a hefty rate. You don't just you don't just manufacture a new refinery out of thin air. It's a friggin' joke. So, hey, Blue Horseshoe. There's more than 2 people watching. Negative gamma, you mean? Every trading day of 2022, pretty much. We were shifted to positive gamma a bit. It's just me or Slack can fall through the upside. Just had 9-10 red weeks and can't even get in past 3,800. I am betting, even if this weekend's choppied up, we'll probably get another push higher next week going into quarter end. That, for the window dressing, quarter window dressing, so that's going to be key. Yep. I see double top on NASDAQ 1 hour. We're going to get that right now. NASDAQ, pretty much the same thing here. Run up. Just recapping for those intraday people trying to learn this. You got pausing bar, another little pause. Then you got, this didn't form a higher divergence here. You switch that 15-minute. You got the flag pattern. Cycles bottoming, then rolling back up, and then you got the double top in the NASDAQ, which has triggered on the 15-minute basis and the 1 hour basis. So next target's down 11,491. 11,453.75, 11,416. And again, I'm using conservative targets on this, and you are going back into a clear path move with very little stopping points. So I'm keeping an eye on that for the pullback move to the upside. With this move, I'm actually going to, I want the shorter term with this, and I'm going to go off the most recent swing right here. I can leave it on the long. I'll put up a most recent swing too. Which gives me my next level if it does push higher tomorrow, 11,800 essentially. By the way, this double on this right back, if it goes on the full target, it takes us back to the 50% retracement from this up move. Dow finished the double bottom pattern today, finally. And now there's no double top pattern in here. So on a pullback move, if we get through about 30,350, I'm watching 30,200, which is the 50% up move from here. And you can't see it right here. Just let me move that. See how that was the harmonic? And that harmonic was from the low to this high, 30,722. Little reversal there. And so the next one, which I'm leaving in place, 30,896. That's the key area to the upside move. Russell also does have a little potential double top here that's not yet triggered. If that were to trigger, again, it's nearly identical with the two tops. If that were to trigger, and that's on a move below 1,683, we're going 1672.50, 1667, 1661. So there's your potential downside. Now to the upside, I'm really focused on 1704. If we get back through there, it's just the most recent highs, or the most recent swing high, 1713. Yeah, gas tax holiday, it's not going to do crap even if they put that through. And I don't even think Congress is stupid enough to put that one through. Let's see. Was he on a different channel? Blue Horse. If you want to go and see where everybody is, go to the main YouTube channel. Let's see. Powell will speak tomorrow. The market always goes up when Powell speaks. And it doesn't always go up when Powell speaks. Maybe every company should declare bankruptcy to pump like Revlon. Hey, Tesla could declare bankruptcy and probably go to 2,000. So there you go. DAX also has a double, and it's valid because the first and second targets are within the move that started it just barely. So that's what I'm watching, 12,998 and 12,969. Crude is just a mess right now. Still, we got that close below the 62.5, at least on the 4 hour. And, it did close below on the daily. So I'm still now watching for that continued bigger pullback on rally moves, and then we'll have to reassess. I just don't have any strong pattern in crude at the moment, besides watching the 4 hour rotation zone. Where else we sit? Nothing going on with gold or silver. Notes, by the way, notes hit the first and second target today on the double. You can see here. There's your second target hit. There was your first target hit with momentum. There was your second target hit. So now that's raise, stop, and take partial profits. Final target is 117.19 and a half, or 19. Sorry, just 117.19. On a pullback, key support is 116.14 now. Dollar index. Not much going on. It's still in this consolidation. By the way, before Euro USD. Here's what I'm keeping an eye on because it is edging up. I am keeping an eye, just like that double top in the. Since the dollar index, the major component is Euro USD, but I am keeping an eye on this potential double with the first and second targets. So that would be above 107.87, 110, then 111. Those are the two targets essentially. And you see coming down, trying to make a little divergence play. Not really. I mean, it's because this didn't make a lower low, but almost it's waning. I should call it waning momentum play. And it'll be interesting to see if this over the next couple weeks, if this does trigger, because then it'd be out of the way of the weekly rotation zone, and we could get a rally in the euro US dollar. Just wanted to point that out. What's interesting also to me is your VIX did not reverse up with the pullback move into the close. So pretty much closing right at its lows. So that was very interesting, even with that pullback. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to first thing tomorrow morning. By the way, remember the 10-year from this morning. We had a green bar all the way up here. Look where we are again. 23.8%, or 23.238%. Not 23, boy, Japan would really be screwed then. So that's, again, they're still keeping this in place. I think it's going to keep getting challenged every day now. Not much move in the yen, but they can't keep that and defend the yen forever. So that's where we sit. By the way, US dollar, Swissy, for any FX traders watching this, approaching this potential massive double top. And it would be out of the way of the weekly rotation zone, and you have pretty much a clear path straight down to the first move, so I am keeping an eye on that. Bitcoin back below 20K. And Bitcoin, even with the NASDAQ rally today, could not get any mojo going. No mojo. That's actually a pretty big sign of weakness. Key area is now between 19,630 and the major line in the sand is 19,127. So I'm watching now to see how it reacts back in this rotation, or this between the 50 and the 62 and a half. Just make it a little different with the colors. So those two levels. Where else? Oh, Tesla. Tesla was running up just shy of the first target, and then you got the on the double. And then you got the news article come out. So that's pretty much interesting. If we do break down, this is just it's too sloppy for a double top. But if it breaks down below about 700 again, key area I'm keying off of is 683 and then the lows from yesterday for the gap fill. But as long as you don't get the close for the double below this 669 area, then still favoring a potential move up if we get a rally in the NASDAQ. Can you take a look at SWBI? SWBI, Smith & Wesson Brands. So they got earnings tomorrow. It's all I can say is at a critical juncture. I would not be terribly the only thing that could make me bullish on this is if we got this double triggering. Other than that, this is the second retest of the 200-week. Breaking down. If earnings don't go well, you're into an advanced clear path all the way down to your gap fill and the breakout zone. So I would err on the side, I'd be on the bearish side unless we triggered this short-term double. Because it's already broken key support. I mean, if you just do your simple analysis, you have support, tested, broken, retested with the declining weekly rotation zone, rolling over, finding support at the 200 week, which you know is very important, and then you're into an advanced clear path with a still unfilled gap to the downside. Would not be horribly bullish on this at all. I just want to see from the COVID lows, and it's below the 62.5. So statistically, look, that favors the return to 87.5 and the gap fill. So the only short-term bullish thing would be a potential double if it did trigger. Other than that, longer term, rolling back down. Hey, Amit, how are you? I'm well. Oh, man, we haven't seen Rich Beast. I guess Rich Beast is not feeling well. He said he was sick yesterday, but Rich isn't feeling well. So, again, everybody sends some positive energy to Rich. Biden was asked in a debate, is any place for fossil fuel, coal, fracking in your administration? His answer is no. We would work off of it. This is not a policy mistake. It's a campaign promise. I agree. But what are you going to do? What are you going to put everybody in? What vehicles are going to... How are you going to get goods around? We don't have electric trains, like, to move freight. You don't have long-haul electric trucks. You have most of the country, most of the world still drives gas cars or diesel cars. You can't just make it disappear. They don't. Oh, see, that's why they shall be gone. What do I think about XOP and BTU? XOP. Hold on, let me revise this here. Right now, until we get some bottoming pattern in oil, it's just a continued pullback move. It's below the weekly, so my next target down to watch for somewhere around a bottoming pattern would be about 117.35. On any rally, I would not be doing anything in XOP because we could be setting up a little head and shoulders for a bigger correction, but there's no great bottoming pattern here yet. So any rally, see here, you can see it on the daily. If we return to the rotation zone and rotate back down, then we get the bigger potential move down. I just don't have a play. It's sitting against critical support right now. If this right here, if this breaks, you could see a pretty fast move to 117.59, and we could get the bigger pullback. Boy, that would be interesting too. The bigger pullback to the monthly rotation zone and closer to the 50% retracement. So regarding XOP, it's what I said before. With oil stuff, I was moving up stops aggressively, and you get taken out, and then you get, from my perspective, then you get patient and wait for some bottoming plays in these to get back in, and it could take a little bit longer. BTU, that's sort of ugly. Ugh. Whew. I don't think that's going to work with the neckline's not broken. Yeah, it actually does work. Here's where I'd be cautious. You can still, this would be, if you're already long, it's keeping a stop, with, you have this potential head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. And this is the move that started it, so don't use the third target, but you get a bigger correction. But if you're still long at a stop down here. Because if this triggers, you could easily get a bigger pullback. And that's also, remember, we had this Breakout level, little mini double top that only hit the first target. The rotation up, breaking through that, retesting it, confirming it, confirming it. So this is at a pretty critical juncture. So that's it for the upside. The only thing is if this pulls back a bit and holds here and doesn't really trigger this head and shoulders, you could have a potential double bottom. So right now it's in no man's land for me. Those are the two things I'd be watching. This isn't pulled back far enough to make it a potential double bottom, so I can't map it out yet. That would be the only bullish thing if this support level holds. If the support level breaks, then I give it room on the pullback, and if you're still long something, I would then have a more aggressive stop up here. I have not checked on Borrow or anything else for Revlon. I'm actually not touching it. Mike, is there a potential double bottom on Netflix on the 4-hour? Let's take a look. Oh, that is... I mean, there's this longer term potential double. That is just horribly, horribly sloppy. Hold on, let me get my magnet back on. No, it's not. Besides it being horribly sloppy, it didn't pull back to 75% harmonic. What the play is, if you start getting a stronger market, so it almost filled this gap, but here's your play. Above about 184.50, conservative would be about 185. You then have another gap fill play, but I would not ignore 189.60 area. That would be your breakout. I just treat this as a breakout play with the gap fill and the return. I even put before the full gap fill, I'd be targeting 180. This old harmonic 189.60 to about 192. The breakdown zone. I would actually be watching for if it can't even make that full. So I'd use this to come up with reward to risk. This would be the target area I'd utilize on a breakout play. Now keep in mind why I'm being patient with this. Why I'm being nice and patient with Netflix. That's your short-term play. The longer-term play against this harmonic, see if it can finally if we can get a little stronger rally going on above 207.38. Above 207.38, that could take it into the rotation zone, and you do have, on the weekly, you do have that clear path, and on a daily, you have a clear path, at least through the first and second target, and technically a gap is a clear path. So that's the longer term play that's still potentially valid, that I am keeping an eye on. Your P to E is back to 15.50, which is not bad. So if we get a stronger, if we can ever get a stronger market, sort of a more medium-term market rally, that's one of the things I'd be watching for. Now, when our earnings 19th of July. So it's going to get interesting before then. And this might never trigger, so the shorter term play would be that gap fill. Bill Gates dumped UPS. Is that a bad sign for FedEx? I don't really track Bill Gates' trading activity, and I don't know how good he is. So it could be a warning sign for FedEx. Also, FedEx, remember, if things start slowing down and consumer starts entrenching themselves with retail, they're not going to be buying as much sort of frivolous stuff. And a lot of frivolous stuff is delivered these days. So he'll still buying core necessities, but a lot of people buy core necessities off of Amazon, and Amazon's running mostly their own shipping service at this point. So, it could be a war, but you start seeing a slowdown. That's why I'm really paying attention to FedEx, not from the FedEx point of view, but from where it's going to be a little, could be another warning recession sign. And I don't have any great setup. I looked earlier at FedEx, and I don't have a great setup, so it's hands off. Okay, that's your weekly, and this is just you do have this little potential double, but that's just it's not yet triggered. So if it did trigger tomorrow during trading day, it would be a low position sort of earnings gamble play. Let's throw a very small position size at it and take minimal risk because it is an earnings play. But that's the only thing, and you do have gaps down here. But that's the only little thing. I'll map it out so we can glance at it. That's the only thing on FedEx. That's pretty interesting. That takes it right to that close. But that would be all right. We think they're going to get sold off in the earnings, whether it's a miss or whether they guide lower. They say we're slowing down. And they're going to have an aspect with FedEx with fuel costs. I know they've been working on electrifying more of their fleet and going to these hybrid vehicle delivery vans, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to offset with the fuel costs. So they could take some hits with that and have a lot tighter margins. So that's the only play I have. There is no strong bottoming play. So we can check in on that tomorrow. And then Lauren, thank you so much for the super chat of give a huge shout out to Lauren. Wonderful supporter of the channel. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Lauren is the GOAT. You are welcome, Amit. Hey, and Amit steps up 49. Wow. Thank you so much, Amit. Thank you. You both, everybody. Big shout out to Lauren and Amit. And I asked for comments. Come back tonight or once this is over, when this live stream's over, and just leave a comment and thank Amit and Lauren for their contributions to the channel. Could you do that for me? Because it helps support the channel. And you know what? It's a good thing to do. It gives off good energy, and it's just I know I sound like a tie-dye wearing hippie, but I mean it. What you put out there comes back. I completely believe that. And so could we get some people to give in the comment section a big shout out after the live stream's over? Again, also give a big shout out to Lauren and Amit. Thank you, Amit. Again, I really want that. This is the kind of community I would love to have. I think I covered everything. Everyone. So, any other questions? Again, I got the Pink Floyd tie-dye on today. So there you go. Did you ever think you'd see a bald-headed technical analysis guy with a YouTube channel who listens to Grateful Dead and Pink Floyd? Oh, thank you, Lauren. Yes, thank you, Dr. Michael, for thanking them. Again, Strategy Freeman, thank you for shouting out. And that's why I put so much of this out for free, because I just want people to grow and learn together. All right. I'm going to wrap it up for now. Everybody have a peaceful night. We'll be back tomorrow morning, for another live stream. And Bob Iacchino tomorrow afternoon. So that's what we're going to do. And then the week's almost over. If you don't have a trade, sit on your hands, and we'll see what sets up for tomorrow morning to help everybody have a successful day. Don't eat your pudding before dinner. I will not. Nice Pink Floyd reference. Go to series on harmonics. Wait, guys, please take to watch the how-to series on harmonics and GAN levels. I think it's a pretty good one. No, more free information up there. Thanks for mentioning that, Amit. With that, I will talk to everyone later. Again, wonderful evening. Bye.